Arsenal are in talks to sign Kai Havertz. Fabrizio Romano has reported that early talks with the player have gone positively, and it looks like Kai Havertz is keen on the move. But Chelsea are looking for 75 million, and Arsenal are not willing to pay that. Obviously, has to do with one of, well, I think is looks like to be one of your best players, a guy who scored a Champions League in the record books for you guys, scored a Champions League winning goal for you guys. How does this feel as a Chelsea fan?
You know, Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake." And this move would be a massive mistake for Arsenal. But obviously, as a Chelsea fan, I'm happy with it. Realistically, what does signing Kai Havertz do for Arsenal? Do they want him to be a nine? Havertz is not better than Gabriel Jesus. Do they want him to play midfielder? He's not better than Martin Odegaard, and you can't play Kai Havertz with Odegaard because the midfield will be too attacking. That's going to leave too much space. The defense will get exposed. I just this it's a bit of a head scratcher for me because I don't really understand what Arsenal are trying to do here. Are you really going to pay 60, 75 million, whatever the fee is expected to be for a squad player? Because that's what I think he would be for you. He would be a rotational squad player. And I understand now you have Champions League football. You got to have a good squad. I mean, Man City have proved that you have to have good depth, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to pay at least 60 million and then give Kai Havertz 200K per week, which is what it's been rumored that that's what he's going to want. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But for Chelsea, this is a brilliant move. I mean, getting Kai Havertz off the books, getting 60 million back for him, I'm taking that all day. And some people are looking at it as if we're going to strengthen Arsenal, but I don't really look at it like that because Kai Havertz is just not that great. I don't really rate him that highly. Yes, he is a player that has done great things for Chelsea. He scored that goal in the Champions League to win us the Champions League. But outside of that, what has he really done for us? We paid 80 million for him, and realistically, he's been a flop. So, in my eyes, getting 60 million back for him, sending him to Arsenal, that's a win for me. I am over the moon with this. I think this would be a bad move for Arsenal because realistically, if they're going to spend 60 million on a player, I think they could do a hell of a lot better than Kai Havertz. So, and then another thing, if they do go ahead and make this move and sign Kai Havertz, this is even better for Chelsea because it virtually takes Arsenal out of the race to sign Caicedo from Brighton, who Chelsea desperately need. I'm on my knees praying every night that we can get this deal done. And he said that he wants Champions League football, and of course Arsenal can offer that. But if they sign Kai Havertz for 60 odd million, and then they're obviously going to sign Declan Rice for around 100 million, they're just waiting for that to finally get confirmed. They're not going to sign Caicedo for 80 plus million as well. It's just not going to happen. So that virtually takes them out of the race, and it's just Chelsea to sign Caicedo, and we actually could get him, and I would be over the moon with that. He would be perfect for our midfield with Pochettino. So in my eyes, I'm over the moon with this. Hopefully Arsenal do sign Kai Havertz. I understand some Chelsea fans are like, I don't want another De Bruyne situation. I don't want another Mo Salah situation where we get rid of a guy and then he goes on to a new club and flourishes. But I just don't see that happening with Kai Havertz because he's just not that great. He's not good at finishing. His technical ability is not that great either. He's not really that good of a player in general. Like, what is he really that good at on the football pitch? He's just kind of mid in my eyes. So I'm over the moon with this.
Look, I was a bit surprised from the news as well because, look, I don't rate Kai Havertz at all. I just never really have. That was even before he went to Chelsea. I just didn't really see, that from the eye test, he didn't look like he had that next step factor to be a world class player. But I'm more curious of what ballpark are Arsenal trying to sign him for? Because look, I wouldn't pay more than 50, 45 million for Kai Havertz, and Chelsea are never going to accept that. So what is the point here? I don't really get it. And like you said, where would they play Kai Havertz? Where is he going to play? I don't know if Arteta thinks it's like Man City where you can just have like a Riyad Mahrez or a Jack Grealish just come off the bench. Not every Premier League team can do that. That's not realistic. So he doesn't really fit whatever system they're trying to do. A midfield of Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, and Odegaard, that don't sound too good to me. That sounds way too open. I get Declan Rice is a great true, center defensive mid. But that's asking a little bit too much there to pick up for those two guys. So I don't understand it very much either. I think it would be a bad move. I would not spend that money for that type of player when you could invest it something elsewhere. But I mean, who knows? I mean, Chelsea have been basically shopping Kai Havertz around because who wouldn't be? I
Yeah.
mean, he's still a young player. It's not like you're completely lost all the money in him, but 75 million they're looking for him. I would not touch him with a 100-foot pole.
Yeah, well, and look, like if I'm a club, I wouldn't do it, of course. I mean, look, when we signed Kai Havertz, we thought we were getting a player that could develop into a future Ballon d'Or winner. Obviously, he's been nowhere near that, and realistically, he just hasn't lived up to the expectations. If we can get 60 odd million, I'm okay with that because realistically, we paid about 80 for him. We get 60 for him. That's basically a 20 million loss, but he did win us the Champions League and the Club World Cup. So basically, we paid 20 million to win the Champions League and the Club World Cup. I'm taking that all day. That's a good trade for us. We get 60 million, and realistically, Chelsea has so many holes in the squad where this 60 million that we're getting from Arsenal, a direct rival, is going to be spent much better for us because we have so many holes to fit in the squad. Caicedo, we need a true number 9. We still need to get help on the defensive side of the ball as well. So I just think this would be brilliant from Chelsea's point of view, but for Arsenal, it's just a bit of a head scratcher. But obviously, I wanted to go ahead and make this point because a lot of people seem to view Kai Havertz as a Chelsea legend purely because of the fact he scored the winning goal in the Champions League final and also scored the winning goal in the Club World Cup. And I understand that. But for me, Kai Havertz is not a Chelsea legend. And I obviously, like I said, some people believe the goal in the Champions League and the Club World Cup is enough to make him a legend. But that puts him in the history books. He's forever etched in Chelsea's history books. But that doesn't mean he's a legend. Realistically, we paid 80 million for him, and he scored 32 goals and got 15 assists in 139 matches for the club. He's a flop, plain and simple. Those numbers signify that he is a flop. And then, like when we signed him, like I said, I thought we were getting a player that could win a Ballon d'Or in the future, could contend for a Ballon d'Or in the future. And now, even putting Kai Havertz in the same sentence as the Ballon d'Or is just disrespectful to the prestige of the Ballon d'Or. So realistically, he's just not a great footballer. It annoys me as well. Bayern, the biggest club in your home country of Germany, is interested in you, along with Arsenal, of course. But it's being reported that you're keen to go to Arsenal and you're pushing for that move instead of pushing to go to Bayern. I think calling Kai Havertz a Chelsea legend is disrespectful to the actual legends of this club. John Terry, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, Gianfranco Zola, Peter Osgood, Petr Cech, and many more that I didn't even get the chance to mention because I'd be here all day. Putting Kai Havertz among those names is disrespectful to me. I don't view him as a Chelsea legend. Thanks for the Champions League. Thanks for the Club World Cup winning goal. But you are not a Chelsea legend in my eyes and never will be.
I think the only other thing you can compare this to is how some people view Fernando Torres' tenure at Chelsea, because overall, his tenure was a flop. He was not a good player for Chelsea, but he had that one spectacular moment against Barcelona to help push them to win the Champions League. And I don't know. Well, what are your thoughts on Torres then? If you think Kai
I
Havertz
don't
is
view
not
Torres as a club legend either.
okay,
Thank you for the goal against Barcelona. But if you really look at it, Torres was a flop as well.
absolutely.
Just because you score a huge goal in the history of the club that propelled us to winning the biggest club competition in the Champions League doesn't automatically make you a club legend. It forever puts you in the history books, and I'll forever love Kai Havertz for scoring those 2 goals, no doubt about it. But a legend of the club? No.
Yeah,
You can't put Kai Havertz in the same sentence as Frank Lampard, like as legend of the club. It's
no.
disrespectful. It's more than disrespectful. It's a disgrace, honestly. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a Chelsea legend and I hear people are calling Kai Havertz a legend for what he's done, 32 goals, 15 assists in
But
139
I just
matches.
don't think a lot of people are saying that. I don't
No,
know.
no. Well, I see it. Like, look, if you go under Fabrizio Romano's tweet, oh, well, he's forever a Chelsea club legend,
He's
blah, blah. A lot of
forever.
Chelsea fans believe it. I wouldn't be making this point if I didn't see a lot of people say it. That's
Well,
basically the point that I'm
I
making.
mean, well, I'm more thinking of it as I never want to, walk into someone's comparing Frank Lampard to fucking Kai Havertz. I see it more as like kind of how Liverpool fans view Divock Origi. He's
He's like
iconic.
he's like a
He's,
cult hero
he's
almost.
like a cult hero. He's like the people's champ, basically, but nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Because when anybody dissects each of those players, like Kai Havertz or Fernando Torres or even a Divock Origi, they weren't good. They
Yeah.
just had these highlight moments that of like brilliance.
Yeah.
That because everybody, like, there's a lot of Chelsea fans that felt so connected to that run that when they won the Champions League, that they're gonna feel such a certain way no matter what Kai Havertz do. Kai Havertz could go to Arsenal and win them the treble, and they'll still feel a certain type of way because Kai Havertz was the guy to put it past City to win them their second Champions League.
Yeah,
that's history. But it just
that.
depends on how much people are willing to go, because look, he's not going in the Hall of Fame. That's not happening. So he's not going to the Premier League Hall of Fame here. So he's like, pump the brakes. He's, it's good to give him his flowers when he's gone, because you never want to see a player forced out by hate. But overall, like, you just have to calm the brakes a little bit,
Yeah. And look, and obviously there are no guarantees that this is going to get across the line, that he's going to go to Arsenal, but it does look inevitable at this point that he is going to leave. Obviously, if he doesn't end up going to Arsenal, then my point about him pushing for a move to Arsenal, that goes by the wayside. I personally would be okay with him going to Bayern as well. And, realistically, either way, I'm okay with it, because I don't think Arsenal would be getting that quality of a player. But I just think it's a bit weird on Kai Havertz's side to be pushing so hard for a move to Arsenal, saying, like, this is where I want to go over Bayern, when, you are etched in Chelsea's history books. It seems a bit odd to me, you know what I mean? It's a bit disrespectful, I think, you know what I mean? But I'm still okay with it, because we need that 60 million or however much we get. We need it desperately. And it's even better, like I said, because it takes Arsenal, in my eyes, out of the race to get Caicedo, because it looks as if it's going to be us versus them. And, look, money doesn't grow on trees. You can't just get unlimited money. Not everyone is Man City,
Yeah.
So it's just not really going to happen. But obviously, this is a situation that we're going to have to continue to follow, continue to see how it develops. Obviously, Fabrizio kind of is continuing to keep us updated with the story. So if any more breaking news in the situation comes out, we'll definitely be first ones here to make a video and give our thoughts and reactions to that. But I think unless you have any final points about Arsenal, Kai Havertz, whatever, we can go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yeah, I think we're done here.
So I'm Zach.
I'm G.
And we'll see you next time for another video. Peace.
Peace.